Let's talk about Cloudflare. They compromised an on-prem Jira server. They're attributing it to a nation state, but then the attackers use like Sliver. Like, I'm like, really?
I do love it how whenever a tool like Sliver or something's used, they're like, well, it can't be the Russians because it wasn't in Russian.
How could it possibly be a nation state?
For the record, I would always attribute everything to a nation state because at the end of the day, why not? Like,
they detailed like all of the things that the threat actors were specifically searching for within Jira tickets, looking for how they're doing the vulnerability management, how they're rotating passwords, how their MFA is implemented.
This is actually a pretty nice write-up.
They went into some really crazy detail on like the steps they took.
This is an organization that I think is writing up things correctly. They did a deepfake video conference with multiple people all pushing for this person to transfer the $25 million.
We tell people to rely on their gut instincts, right? That's security awareness training. I feel like it's one of those where if it happened to you, you'd be like, there was 5 people. Like, it's legit. It wasn't just some guy calling.
The culture of the organization dictates that people do these things without question. Kelly nailed it. She said, this is why we have written policies and procedures to follow.
Even the best policies and procedures get lost, especially when we're dealing with third parties. In the trading world, it slows things down to the point where some people just go, well, screw it.
If you pretend to be the CEO or CFO and you demand something get done right now, and how dare you question my authority, they're going to do it because that pattern of behavior matches what happens in real life.
AnyDesk.
This is one of the worst write-ups I've seen in a long time.
I mean, from a legal perspective, it's fantastic. It doesn't disclose any information. It doesn't confirm anything.
But if we read between the lines, we conducted a security audit, found evidence of compromised production systems. So that tells me they're at the heart of the company. It's a production system. The relevant authorities have been notified, which means that this was big enough that they had to bring in the FBI. We will be revoking the previous code signing certificate and already started replacing it with a new one. This screams to me of a SolarWinds style attack. And they're telling people to like remove previous binaries, which makes me wonder if there wasn't malware injected. But that's, I have to assume that because they're not giving me anything else to go with. God, I hate this one so much. We have no evidence that any end user devices have been affected. We can confirm the situation is under control and it's safe to use our product.
The lawyers wrote that, not the incident responders.
Well, if we don't have logs, then we have no evidence of a breach.
These tools get used way beyond their intended use cases and security parameters. These get used everywhere to solve problems that should be solved using things like VPNs or privileged access using MFA or whatever. But instead, they use AnyDesk, and that's why it's scary. The government says you have to unplug your VPNs.
Just one brand.
You have 2 choices, unplug or patch.
Well, the patch process apparently involves taking them offline and reflashing them.
Sparky TN says, SZA says we can't use our VPN. Let's use AnyDesk. SZA's just saying unplug it and you have to do it.
There's always pushback, right? So this way it allows them to kind of say, well, SZA told us to. And it kills all that political scuttlebutt.
And it also takes the blame off of the security team. They're like, listen, the government said.
It's been announced that there is a security hole that they found in the patch already.
No. You remember with like Flash and Adobe and Java, whenever people started finding vulnerabilities, it just basically was like a beacon to people to go find more vulnerabilities in these things, right?
I did a whole webcast about this last week. And there's a whole history section in the webcast about all of the big attacks. WannaCry, pick your malware. Almost all of them were like a month after the patch. The other thing about SZA that's fun is they know everyone's dirty laundry, right? Because they've done all these Shodan pen tests of everyone. So they know like, y'all are screwed. Like they know they're not just making this up, and they know how much of an impact this is going to have.
All right, we're talking about government stuff. This could get dangerous.
Yeah, we should
wrap it up.